Welcome back. We are covering 8.2 quadratic formula. So take notes. This one isn't too long. Okay, so let's see. 8.2 quadratic formula. Some of you guys probably already know it. Maybe your teacher back in high school made you sing it. So feel free to sing it while I go over it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so the formula. And this formula is the formula that we use to solve any and all quadratic equations. Okay, so it turns out that if ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, then the solution to this equation, x, is going to be equal to negative b. I highly encourage you to use parentheses where I put parentheses. Okay, so negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a. Okay, so this is your formula right here. Hopefully you have it memorized. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example of using this to solve. So let's go ahead and solve this equation using the quadratic formula. Okay, so 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, so this is a nice little formula you can use to solve quadratics when they're not factorable. You don't feel like using completing the square or other methods. So you can use the quadratic formula. Because remember, the quadratic formula solves any and all quadratics. Okay, so here a equals 2, b equals negative 5, and c equals negative 3. Okay, so very important that you have the correct signs. All right, so let's go ahead and plug into our formula. X equals negative b, so I'm going to plug in negative 5 in here, plus minus the square root b squared, so negative 5 squared, minus 4 times a is 2, times c, which is negative 3. And let me make this a little bit longer. Okay. And it's all over 2a. A is 2. Okay, so once you plug everything in to the proper place, then you just work this all out. Okay, so double negative right here becomes positive 5. And right here, negative 5 squared means negative 5 times negative 5, which is 25. And then over here, this is like negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And then negative 8 times negative 3 is positive 24. Okay. All over 4. So right away, as soon as you plug it in and you work out each piece, and there's really four things. You work out this part, you work out this piece here, and this bottom part. So there's really only the four parts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And once you work out each of those pieces, you have a much more simple problem to look at. Okay, so here 5 plus minus square root, and that is 49 all over 4. But the square root of 49 is 7. So we get 5 plus or minus 7 all divided by 4. Okay, so let's not leave our answer like this, because we can add 5 plus 7 and we can subtract 5 minus 7. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll do 5 plus 7 over here. And then we'll do 5 minus 7 over 4 over there. Okay, so then here I get 12 over 4, and so I get x equals 3. Okay, so, and over here I get negative 2 over 4, so that is negative 1/2. Okay, if and you would do this where you work out the addition problem and you work out the subtraction problem. You would do that only if your square root simplified to an integer. If you ended up with, like, say, square root 47, then you just stop here. 5 plus minus square root 47 all over 4. Okay. But if it simplifies, like it does here, to square root 49 simplifies to 7, then make sure that you do the two answers, work out the two answers completely. Okay? All right, let's do one more. Let's go ahead and solve 15x squared plus 12x minus 5 equals 0. Nice big numbers. Okay, so here a equals 15, b equals 12, c equals negative 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug it into our formula. X equals negative b is 12, plus minus square root, and then b squared. So b is 12 minus 4 times a is 15, times c is negative 5, all over 2 times a is 15. Okay, so let's work out all four parts. We'll do this part 1, this part 2, these 3, that's 3, and this bottom part 4. Okay, so negative 12. 12 squared is 144. Now this third part, this triple right here, negative 4. I'm going to do negative 4 times negative 5 first, because I'm not using a calculator, so I'm going to do it in my head. So that's going to give me positive 20. 20 times 15 is 300. And then down below, 2 times 15 is 30. Okay? All right, so let's see what we get here. Negative 12 plus or minus square root, and that is 444 all over 30. Okay, 444 is not a perfect square, but I could split it up, right? I could split up 444 as 4 times 111. That'll give me 2 square root of 111. Okay, so let's do that. So negative 12 plus or minus 2 square root 111 all over 30. Okay, and usually you would just stop right here since the square root doesn't simplify any further. But there is one thing you can do with this answer. If you notice that all 3 of these, and it has to be all 3 of these, are divisible by 2. Okay. One way you can look at it is, oh, okay, you can factor out a 2 from in the numerator. And you get that, right? And then now you can cancel. Okay. A lot of students make small mistakes here with canceling. So I would recommend that you factor out from the numerator, and then if that can cancel with the denominator, then you can cancel. If you can't factor something out from the numerator that cancels with the denominator, then you can't cancel at all. Okay. So this here would be our final answer. So like right here, some students would cancel the negative 6 and the 15. You cannot do that. Okay, because if you're thinking, oh, but they have 3 in common. Okay, well, if they have 3 in common, then are you able to factor out a 3 from here and here? No. If you can't factor out a 3 here, then you can't cancel the 3. Okay, like right here. If you're thinking, oh, they have 2 in common, well, you better be able to factor out a 2 from the numerator to cancel it. Okay, if you can't factor out a 3, then you can't cancel it. Okay, so this would be our final answer. Okay, so that is it. If you have any questions, make sure you text me or email me.